Today is December. The date has officially passed. December 19th, the day of the closest approach, is now behind us. If you are reading this, you are still here. The world did not end. The sky did not catch fire. And if you listen to the official channels, nothing significant happened at all. They are telling us that 3I Atlas, the third interstellar visitor in human history, passed by Earth at a safe distance of 270 million kilometers. They are telling us it is just a rock tumbling through the dark on its way out of the solar system. But you and I know better. We have been watching the data. We have seen the anomalies. And what happened in the last 24 hours isn't a non-event. It is the quietest, most terrifying confirmation we could have asked for. Welcome back. If you are new here, you have joined us at the most critical moment. We are tracking an object that defies physics, and the narrative is shifting so fast it is hard to keep up. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications on. You need to hear what the mainstream media is burying in the back pages. Let's look at what actually happened yesterday. At 2:16 a.m. Eastern Time, 3I Atlas reached its perigee relative to Earth, 270 million kilometers. That is far. That is further than the Sun. It is a distance that should make it impossible to see anything other than a faint dot in a telescope. But something changed right at the moment of closest approach. Reports are coming in from independent observatories, the ones that aren't scrubbed by government algorithms yet. They noticed a spectral shift. We talked before about the object dimming, about it absorbing light like Vanna Black. But yesterday, for a brief window, it didn't just go dark, it glowed. And not the white or blue glow of sublimating ice. It wasn't a coma of gas. The color was gold, a distinct metallic golden hue. Think about that. Comets are dirty snowballs. They are gray, black, maybe reddish if they have tholins. They do not turn gold unless the crust we've been looking at, the camouflage of dust and ice, finally cracked, or unless it was shed intentionally. What if the wobble we detected earlier, that mechanical oscillation in the antitail, was a deployment sequence? What if the object was shedding its heat shield? The timing is too perfect. Right at the point of closest approach, when the geometry between Earth, the Sun, and the object was aligned, the visual signature changed completely. And then, just as quickly, it went dark again. But that's not the only thing that slipped through the cracks. While the scientific community is issuing dry press releases about orbital parameters and hyperbolic trajectories, the geopolitical stage is reacting in a way that makes no sense for a simple rock. Yesterday, during a live broadcast, Vladimir Putin made a comment that has the intelligence community scrambling. He was asked about the comet, a standard softball question. He should have said, "It is a fascinating scientific discovery." He didn't say that. He called it our secret weapon. He laughed afterwards. He played it off as a joke. He said, "It is our secret weapon, but we will only use it in the most extreme case. We'll send it to Jupiter." The media is reporting this as humor. The president jokes about the comment, but let's parse that. We'll send it to Jupiter. Why Jupiter? If you look at the trajectory data released by NASA and the ESA, the next major gravitational interaction for 3I Atlas is, in fact, Jupiter. On March 16, 2026, it will pass within 53 million kilometers of the gas giant. That is a precise navigational coordinate. How does a joke align so perfectly with the orbital mechanics of an interstellar probe? And why claim ownership? Our secret weapon? Maybe it is posturing, maybe it is a distraction, or maybe, just maybe, he knows that the object isn't just passing by. Maybe he knows it is responding to a signal. Remember the pings we discussed? The signals coming to the comet. If world leaders are starting to make jokes about the object being a weapon, it means the conversation behind closed doors has shifted from discovery to threat assessment, and they aren't the only ones acting strange. This morning, a new article dropped on the tech wires. The headline is "Innocuous." Astronomers discuss interception strategies for interstellar objects. Read between the lines. The object is leaving. It is moving away at 80 kilometers. It is gone. Why are they suddenly talking about interception? They are talking about Project Lyra. They are talking about the ESA's Comet Interceptor mission scheduled for 2029. They are discussing how to send a probe to chase it down. Why chase a rock that is leaving the system? Why spend billions of dollars to catch a snowball that is heading into the void? Unless they missed something, unless the flyby wasn't just a flyby. There is a theory circulating in the deep forums, the ones where the raw data from the radio telescopes gets leaked. The theory is that 3i Atlas didn't just take pictures. It dropped something. The golden glow event, that might not have been a shield, that might have been a separation. Imagine you are an interstellar probe. You are passing a habitable planet. You don't stop. You don't slow down. That takes too much energy. Instead, you deploy a subprobe, a smaller unit, a lander, or an orbiter. You eject it at the point of closest approach. You give it a golden heat shield to survive the atmospheric entry or to reflect the radar. And then you, the mothership, continue onto Jupiter to use its gravity well for a slingshot maneuver to the next system. If this theory is true, then the interception missions aren't for the comet. They are for the package it left behind. And where is that package now? We don't know, but we know that the anti-tail, that massive structure stretching out behind the comet, is still pointing at the galactic center. It is still transmitting, but the signal has changed. Before the flyby, the signal was a steady pulse, a beacon. Now, the latest data from the Green Bank telescope shows a new pattern. It is complex, it is high bandwidth, and it is bursty. It looks like a handshake confirmation. Upload complete. The object came, it saw, it uploaded, and now it is heading to Jupiter. Why Jupiter? Jupiter is the shield of the solar system. Its massive gravity well protects the inner planets from comets and asteroids. But it is also a massive source of radiation, a massive source of magnetic energy. If 3i Atlas is a machine, Jupiter isn't just a waypoint, it is a refueling station or a target. The Juno probe is currently orbiting Jupiter. NASA says its instruments aren't designed to track interstellar objects. They say it is unlikely they'll get a good look. Do you believe that? We have a billion-dollar probe sitting right next to the next destination of an alien craft, and they're telling us they might not turn the camera on. They are going to watch it. They are going to watch it very closely because they know what we are just starting to figure out. 3i Atlas isn't behaving like a comet, it is behaving like a tourist. It visited the inner system, it checked out the habitable zone, it swung by the dominant life form, and now it is heading to the largest planetary body. It is a tour of the solar system's greatest hits, but tourists usually go home. This one seems to be leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. And the scariest part, the wobble hasn't stopped. Even as it moves away, even as the sun's gravity loses its grip, the object is still oscillating. It is making those microcorrections. It is steering, and it is steering towards a specific patch of sky. We need to talk about where it is going, because if you trace the trajectory past Jupiter, past the edge of the solar system, it is not just heading into random space. It is heading towards a star cluster that shouldn't be there. But that is a story for later. For now, keep your eyes open. Watch the news for any mention of meteor showers or space debris in the coming days. If a package was dropped, they'll try to cover up the entry. And watch Jupiter. The king of planets is about to receive a visitor. I am going to be analyzing the light curve data from the Golden Glow event in the next few hours. If I find what I think I'm going to find, this changes everything. Stay tuned, stay paranoid, and remember, just because it is leaving doesn't mean it is done with us. Let's dig deeper into this interception narrative because the more you look at it, the less sense it makes. The headlines today are screaming about Project Lyra and the ESA's Comet Interceptor. They are talking about launching a mission in 2029 to catch up with an object that will be billions of kilometers away by then. Think about the logistics. To catch an object moving at hyperbolic speeds, speeds that exceed the escape velocity of the sun, you need a rocket that doesn't exist yet. You need propulsion systems that are still on the drawing board. So why are they announcing it now? Why the sudden urgency? Usually space missions take decades to plan. They fight for funding. They get delayed. But this conversation started overnight. It is almost as if they aren't planning to chase the comet out there. It is as if they are planning to meet something that is staying right here. Let's go back to the package theory. If 3I Atlas deployed a probe during the Golden Glow event, where would it go? It wouldn't just float in space. It would need an orbit, a stable parking spot where it can observe, listen, and transmit without being detected. And there is one place in the Earth-Sun system that is perfect for that, a place where gravity balances out, a place where shadows hide everything. The Lagrange point, specifically L2, the point directly behind Earth, hidden from the sun. It is the same spot where we park the James Webb Space Telescope. It is the ultimate vantage point. If you were an alien probe and you wanted to watch Earth without being blinded by the sun, you would go to L2. And guess what the ESA's Comet Interceptor mission is designed to do? It is designed to park at L2 and wait for a target. That is the official mission profile, wait for a target. They are telling us they are going to launch $1 billion spacecraft to sit in a parking spot and wait for a comet that might appear in the future. Or are they launching it to inspect something that is already there? Is Comet Interceptor a cover story for a recovery mission? We know that the James Webb Telescope has been acting strange lately. There have been glitches, guidance sensor anomalies, and unexpected downtime. What if Webb saw something at L2? What if it saw its new neighbor? And this brings us back to the secret weapon comment. When Putin said, "It is our secret weapon," maybe he wasn't talking about the comet. Maybe he was talking about the interceptor. Maybe the space race isn't over. Maybe it just went dark. If there is alien tech sitting at L2, the first nation to reach it, the first nation to interface with it, wins. Not just the century, they win history. This explains the sudden mobilization. This explains why the US, China, and Russia are all suddenly accelerating their deep space programs. It explains why the narrative shifted from harmless rock to strategic interest in less than 24 hours. We are witnessing a silent scramble, a gold rush in the dark, and 3I Atlas, the mothership, it's done its job here. It dropped the payload, and now it is moving on to the next target, Jupiter, March 16th, 2026. Mark that date. The object will pass within 53 million kilometers. We talked about a gravity assist, but there is another possibility. Jupiter is a radio beacon. It emits massive amounts of radio waves. It is the loudest object in the solar system after the sun. If you wanted to send a signal across the galaxy, a signal that wouldn't get lost in the background noise, you would use Jupiter as an amplifier. You would use its magnetic field as a relay. 3I Atlas isn't just visiting Jupiter. It is going to the broadcast tower. It is going to phone home. And we have a front row seat. The Juno probe is there. NASA says Juno is aging. They say its cameras are degrading due to radiation. They are already preparing us for the blackout. Oh, we tried to take a picture, but the camera failed. Don't buy it. Juno has a suite of instruments that can detect magnetic anomalies, gravitational shifts, and plasma waves. Even if the camera is dead, the sensors will scream. If 3I Atlas interacts with Jupiter's magnetosphere, if it taps into that power, Juno will see it. The question is, will they let us see it, or will we get another glitch, another data corruption? We need to be watching the raw feeds from the Deep Space Network. We need to be watching the amateur astronomers who are pointing their backyard dishes at Jupiter. The real story isn't about a rock leaving the solar system. It is about the network it is building while it is here. Earth, L2, Jupiter, connect the dots. It is a triangulation. They are setting up a grid, and we are right in the middle of it. I am going to leave you with one final thought for today. A report just surfaced from a small observatory in Chile. They were tracking the anti-tail as it moved away. They found something else in the spectrum. Complex organic signatures, molecules that shouldn't be there, the building blocks of something structured. Not just carbon, not just water, long-chain polymers, exotic hydrocarbons. The tail isn't just an exhaust, it is a delivery system. It is not just watching us, it is saturating us or upgrading us. We'll talk about the panspermia protocol right now, because if 3I Atlas is spreading this material, then the invasion isn't coming with laser beams, it is coming with the dust. Stay safe, stay watching. Let's talk about the dust. You might have noticed the sunsets lately. Have you seen them? They've been unusually vibrant. Deep purples, fiery oranges, the kind of sunsets you get after a volcanic eruption. Meteorologists are blaming it on atmospheric conditions. They're talking about high-altitude ice crystals, but we know what's really up there. 3I Atlas didn't just pass by, it left a wake, and Earth is currently drifting through the edge of that wake. The report from Chile, the one mentioning these organic anomalies, is being suppressed. I've tried to access the raw spectral data from the server where it was hosted, and it's gone. 404 error, file not found. But once something is on the internet, it's never truly gone. We have the cached summary, and it's terrifying. The spectral signature of the anti-tail contains tholins. That's standard for comets. But mixed in with the tholins are complex chains that look suspiciously like peptide bonds. Peptides are the precursors to proteins. Proteins are the machinery of life. This brings us to the panspermia protocol. Panspermia is the theory that life on Earth didn't start here. It was brought here hitchhiking on comets, delivered by asteroids. But what if it wasn't an accident? What if it was a targeted delivery? If you wanted to terraform a planet, or if you wanted to alter the biosphere of a civilization, you wouldn't land a ship and start handing out vials. That's inefficient. You would dust the atmosphere. You would release a catalyst or molecular precursor into the upper stratosphere. You would let gravity do the rest. It would rain down on the crops. It would settle in the water supply. It would become part of the very air we breathe, and no one would notice until it was too late. Remember the golden glow event on December 19th? The moment the object turned gold and shed its shield. That wasn't a shield. That was a canister. That was the release mechanism. And now, 24 hours later, we are seeing the effects in the atmosphere. The sunsets are the first sign, the scattering of light by particulate matter that shouldn't be there. But there are other signs. Reports from the southern hemisphere, in Chile, in Argentina, in New Zealand, are describing a spike in atmospheric anomalies. Not weather, not storms, just static. People are reporting hair standing on end, electronics glitching when touched, a constant low-level charge in the air. The atmosphere is reacting to something foreign. The meteorological agencies are silent. The atmospheric data centers are silent. But look at the news from Russia again, Putin's secret weapon comment. We will only use it in the most extreme case. What if the weapon isn't the comet? What if the weapon is a shield? If the major powers suspect that the atmosphere is being primed, they aren't going to tell you, that would cause panic. They are going to protect their essential infrastructure. They are going to shield their own grids. And the rest of us, we're the ground wire. We are the conductors. This recontextualizes everything. The interception missions, the rush to L2, they aren't just chasing technology. They are chasing a sample. They need to catch the probe or the package it left behind to analyze the unknown compounds. They must reverse engineer the exotic chemistry before it saturates our ecosystem. It sounds crazy. I know it sounds like a movie, but look at the history. Every time a major comet has passed close to Earth, strange things have happened. Plagues, famines, shifts in the climate. The ancients called them harbingers of doom. We laughed at them. We called it superstition. But what if they were just recording data? What if comets are the galaxy's way of pushing the update button? And 3I Atlas, this isn't a minor patch. This is a system overhaul. The object is heading to Jupiter now. It is leaving the inner solar system, but the dust it left behind is settling. It will take weeks, maybe months, to fall from the stratosphere. We have time, but not much. I want you to do something for me. Go outside tonight. Look at the moon. If there is a halo, a distinct, slightly golden halo, take a picture. Send it to me. We are building a map of the fallout zone. We are tracking the density of the cloud. And there is one more thing. The signal from the anti-tail has changed again. It is no longer pointing at the galactic center. It is pointing at the sun. Why would it point at the sun? Unless it's not transmitting data, unless it's drawing power, or unless it's trying to trigger something. Solar activity has been quiet, too quiet. The sun is in a minimum. But if you fire a high-energy beam into the photosphere, if you stimulate the star, we might be about to see a solar flare that makes the Carrington event look like a sparkler. And if the grid goes down, if the satellites fry, then we are truly alone with whatever is falling from the sky. I am monitoring the SOHO satellite feeds. I am watching the sunspots. If 3i Atlas is a trigger, we'll know soon. Don't trust the weather report. Don't trust the silence. The golden glow was just the beginning. The sun is reacting. I told you to watch SOHO. Look at the latest images. A massive coronal hole has opened up directly facing Earth, directly facing the line of sight of 3i Atlas. The object is pinging our star, and the star is answering. This isn't just a solar flare risk. This is a resonance frequency. The probe is using the sun as a relay or perhaps as a battery. It is drawing energy to boost its signal for the long haul into the void. Now, look at the news again. The article about interception strategies. They mention a kinetic impactor like the DART mission. They tell us it is to analyze the debris. They say they want to smash a probe into the comet to see what's inside. Think about that. You have an alien object, potentially organic, potentially a machine. It is leaving the system. It poses no collision threat to Earth. And your first instinct is to blow it up. You don't blow up a library, you blow up a weapon. They aren't trying to study it. They are trying to kill it. They are trying to break the connection between the probe and the sun before the flare hits. They are trying to shatter the antenna, but it might be too late. The object is accelerating. It is moving faster than their models predicted. The non-gravitational acceleration that Oumuamua had, 3i Atlas has it too, but it is 10 times stronger. And we finally calculated the destination. It is not just out there. It is heading for the Hyades cluster, the nearest open cluster to the solar system. But it is aiming for a specific star, Epsilon Tauri. Do you know what is around Epsilon Tauri? Nothing. It is a giant star with a massive debris disk, or so we thought. The signal 3i Atlas is sending, it's a handshake. It is saying, mission accomplished, coordinates acquired, initiating phase 2. What is phase 2? We found a hidden layer in the audio file of the wobble. The oscillation, it is a countdown. It counts down to March 16th, 2026, the Jupiter rendezvous. Whatever's going to happen, it happens at Jupiter. And the secret weapon Putin mentioned, the one they'll send to Jupiter, it's not a probe, it's a warhead. They are going to try to intercept it at Jupiter with a nuclear pulse. That's the only thing fast enough to catch it now. Project Orion, nuclear propulsion. It has been on the shelf since the 60s. They are dusting it off. We are about to see a nuclear war in deep space, and we are the spectators. But there's one variable they forgot, the dust, the organic signatures. We talked about the panspermia protocol. As the sun gets more active, the solar wind increases. It pushes the dust down faster. The golden halo around the moon, it's getting brighter. The atmosphere is loading up. If they nuke the comet at Jupiter, if they disrupt the signal, does the dust go inert or does it activate? Maybe the comet is the kill switch and they are about to cut the wire. I've received a file from a source inside the ESA. It is a simulation of the impact. It doesn't show the comet breaking apart. It shows it absorbing the blast energy, harvesting it. If we shoot at it, we might just power it up. We are feeding the beast. I am going to upload the simulation in the next hour. You need to see this, and I need you to get ready. If the solar flare hits, if the grid goes down, you need to have a plan. This isn't fear-mongering. This is preparation, because on March 16th, the sky might change forever. This is it, the final update for today. I've uploaded the simulation to the secure server. The link is in the description. It will probably be taken down within the hour, so download it, save it, mirror it. What you are seeing in that file is the result of a kinetic impact on a shield composed of exotic matter. The energy doesn't disperse, it condenses. If they fire on 3I Atlas at Jupiter, they won't destroy it. They will jumpstart it. They will provide the activation energy for whatever process it is planning to execute in the Jovian atmosphere. And here is the terrifying variable. The physics implies this outcome. The scientists at the top levels run the same simulations we do. They see the same data. So why proceed? Is it possible they see no other choice? Are they reacting to the package at L2? To the dust falling in our atmosphere? To the signal pointing at the sun? The nuclear option might be the only card left on the table. A Hail Mary, a shot in the dark to disrupt the synchronization, but we are the ones caught in the crossfire. So what happens next? Between now and March 16th, we enter the quiet zone. The news will likely stop talking about the comet. They will distract you with politics, with scandals, with noise. They want you to forget about the object moving through the dark. But you must not forget. Watch for the signs. If you see the auroras moving south, far south where they shouldn't be, that's the magnetosphere weakening. If you see the golden halo around the moon, that's the dust density increasing. And if you start to hear a hum, a low-frequency vibration that you feel in your teeth more than you hear in your ears, that's the L2 station coming online. 3I Atlas wasn't just a visitor, it was a surveyor, and the survey is complete. Now comes the construction. I will be here. I will be tracking the telemetry every single day. March 16th, 2026. It all ends at Jupiter, or maybe that is where it all begins. We must remain vigilant. The silence of the authorities is not peace, it is a preparation for the unknown. Keep your radios tuned to the frequencies we discussed. Share this information with those you trust. The grid may be vulnerable, but our collective awareness is our greatest defense. I will update you as soon as the next burst is decoded. Until then, stay safe.